I don't want a minute. I want it now.
Okay, get my finger out of the way. You set that wherever.
Oh,
I'll turn it on. You hit your flash. Let's use that one. Okay.
Too many moving parts. So
Your little thing is nicer.
I spent $15. You only spent $12. Is that why?
Well, just this little piece is all
Oh,
I want,
okay.
'cause it doesn't. It's not big enough to fit my phone.
So it only works that way. It doesn't work this way.
Yeah. Just look.
Well, you gotta do something about that gas leak or call the gas company.
I thought there was a baby crying.
I need more stuff on this. Okay.
So now I need
And change this.
Okay.
That one.
And so the reason why we had horizontal last week was because we were logged into Thomas' account to broadcast or to monitor, and we were using your account to broadcast, right? See, that's where we've got to get this figured.
No, we didn't do the share link when we
Right.
did. As long as I was trying to straighten that out. No worky. Thought you could listen it.
Are you not joining now?
Let me do this.
Both you want level.
Is that better or worse?
I don't see you. We don't see you at all. Says what?
It just brings me back to
Okay, so see from studio, it looks so different this
Why,
week.
why don't you send me that link? Thomas, can you text me the link and I'll try it? Yeah, email.
But I'll bet it's a different one once you. Well, hey, we've got 7 people watching. Good morning, guys.
It says join, so I can join.
We're doing a little test here, so if we look discombobulated, it's because we are.
If you're on your phone, you should be able to join. So.
Huh. We had thought this was going to be a private thing, so you didn't see all how goofy we are. Well, if there's anybody watching of the 8 that are watching who know how to add a guest so we could have a split screen, make a note there in chat. We're having trouble because I'm actually using my cell phone as the phone and then on my laptop to monitor comments. We're hoping to improve this so that moving forward with this build that we're working on, we can do this on the regular.
There you go.
What happened? What did you find? Oh, because the notice came through on the phone. So he's only on the phone now. This makes no sense.
No, he should be there. He should have joined.
Well, yeah, he is over here. I can see you. It's a split screen on the telephone. This is why I need the camera set up from here and not use a separate camera because it's trying to do two different
But when
things.
people watch, they should be able to see those.
I just got to figure out. I don't like the idea that you can only do everything from the telephone. I mean, this is what computers were made for when this was first designed. We should be able to see this here for comments, not have to have 14 things set up and Rube Goldberg it to make it work. You know what I mean? That's what's weird to me.
Is your volume up on your phone?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, are you there, Thomas?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you on the phone now.
Okay. I was trying to get Caitlin to hang up because I'm getting like double feed and it's wigging me out.
Cool. Well, hey, we've got a comment. Hi, Selena Narvez. What kind of car is it? It's a 94 Isuzu Amigo that we're going to turn into something very different. And I don't know. So how big a time delay is there between what you see on the telephone versus the laptop?
We'll do this.
It's probably about 4 or 5
That's only-
seconds.
Boom. Now you got the split by hitting live.
Yeah, we were-
Why didn't you tell me that before? You go on my tirade about this stupid computer. You're supposed to know everything. You're young. I'm old. Oh, I don't want to stand right. Okay. Big old delay though. Okay. Gosh. Hey, you guys made it work. You could be over here.
So what are we doing this morning? Get the Amigo.
Say again. It's
Gonna kick it in the shins.
I saw you guys were welding on it a little bit earlier.
Yep. So
Well-
we fixed that crack in the exhaust manifold.
Nice. That'll help.
Welded that, and then we're going to need to look at the timing, or possibly back to your original thought, Thomas, about the valve lash,
Okay.
because with it unable to accelerate without stumbling all over itself,
hmm
when these things were new, they didn't have to sit there and idle for 30 minutes to come up to temperature before they could run right. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's a valid point.
And it,
I do have another theory, but it's a kind of a stretch. But the valve lash, I could see that since if the valve lash is off and those valves aren't opening enough, it could have sort of a power loss there.
it's starving for fuel. Or if we have, well, we wouldn't have one not seating, or we would have had low compression. Never mind.
Yeah, but so your valve rockers could be loose, so the valves would shut all the way. They're just not opening all the way.
Right.
If that
Right.
makes sense.
Does not like load.
No load. No
Yeah.
load back. You all have already adjusted timing, but it's very little swing in the timing. Very little swing.
Yeah, that timing light wasn't working for us last weekend.
Right. For the comments up there, typing something.
So I've been doing
like an Isuzu
some
Amigo.
reading. I've been doing some reading. So when we ran that last weekend, the coolant temperature barely came up at all. And then we had the bogging issue, and he drove it down the street, probably put an 1/8 mile on it. And we had it running for at least 30 minutes, so the temperature should have come up to operating temperature, and it never did. And I am getting to somewhere with that. I did some reading on old forums from probably back when the car was 5 years old, and for some of those vehicles that had the Isuzu 2.6, a lot of them had 2 coolant sensors, one for the temperature gauge and one for the computer. And the computer takes the coolant temperature and decides that if the coolant temperature is cold, it gives it more fuel.
Okay.
And so if the coolant, if the computer is thinking that the coolant is always cold, then it's going to continuously dump lots and lots of fuel into the cylinders. And so what happens is if your coolant temperature goes bad, that one is like right below the intake manifold between cylinder 1 and 2. If that goes bad, then the computer gets confused and it has a hard time telling. It just wants to give it all the fuel so it can warm up the engine.
You know, Thomas, I always wanted to be rich.
Rich.
I'll be big, you be rich. Yeah.
um,
So he's running rich this morning, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm feeling rich.
Well,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense. It
It's
just
just
puzzles me that excuse me, that at an idle with no load, that it can't get out of its own dust at an idle.
yeah. Yeah. So, and that's just the coolant temperature sensor is just one theory. I don't. So in my line of work, I don't like to decide what's wrong with it until I figure it out. But so that's just one thing to look at, and a temperature sensor probably isn't that expensive. But then we also noticed that the O2 sensor light was on and wouldn't go off. It's just on forever. The
We were
O2 sensor
hoping,
The O2 sensor does look new, but that doesn't mean that there's not something wrong with like the circuit or something. And I think that might be could throw it off too,
well,
possibly.
we had hoped that maybe welding that 4-inch crack in the exhaust manifold would help the O2 sensor.
Here, let's go look
Yeah.
at that. I'll show the camera.
All
Okay.
right. Do you think that helped at all?
Well, it's hard to
Too
tell
early
because
to
it's
tell.
running so poorly.
How do you
Okay.
turn on the
Other side, the white button on the other side.
white button?
There you go.
That was the focus. Okay, here we go. Can't get the phone down in there on this tripod.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Got it
He's
all
gonna make it
welded.
shiny.
Did you get to use your fancy cast iron welding rods?
I did not. No, we
'cause
just
I don't have a I don't have a stick welder here.
Oh, okay.
I only have the MIG welder for the wire feed.
let's see. If I do that, nope, not gonna stay. There's nowhere to put this where it doesn't slide.
Yeah.
See if I can.
So as you can see, that was about a 4-inch, easily a 4-inch crack. This was a NASA certified weld that was put in. It's ready to go to space because it was really out of this world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
good one.
looks a lot better than my welding. That's probably the strongest part on that header.
We'll see.
See, there's the O2 sensor right next to that big old crack.
So
Yeah.
there's some tests we can do, some voltage tests on that O2 sensor to see if it's triggering or not.
Well, it
Even
seemed to be running worse without it in there or unplugged.
okay.
We did notice though, that if you only have 2 spark plug wires connected, it runs pretty rough, but it'll still start on 2 cylinders.
You don't
Mhm.
say.
We were that good.
Yeah. Well, we also dumped. I don't know if Caleb told you, but we also dumped like a whole bottle of injector cleaner, fuel system cleaner, into about
Yeah.
another 6 gallons, and dumped that in there too.
About another 6 gallons
Of gas.
Oh.
Yeah.
We need
I,
one of the cheapest
yeah,
gas in town,
6 gallons of injector cleaner. Well, I'm hoping
I
that'll
bought the gas,
clean.
so it was 87.
Yes.
but 87 fell below off.
I'm hoping that'll clean off the top of those injectors well enough to not worry about them, you know.
Well, I am seriously interested in going back to your original thought, Thomas, about checking valve latch.
Valve flash, yeah. Hey,
We'll make an
it's
effort.
who's
We're
to
gonna,
say
we're gonna,
that it's never been done and should get
right.
and needs it anyway?
Well, and we still need to do a smoke test on it. We haven't done that yet to see if we've got another vacuum leak somewhere.
I think Bob bought a celebratory cigar.
Right, I got a switcher.
Okay.
It's hoping to be taking the joint up.
You're gonna cause the Amigo to develop a habit.
And if I can get it wound up with a little nicotine, that's just fine. Wonder what these go to. All kinds of interesting parts. Anyway, you guys did a lot of work on it last weekend, and now we could make the split screen thing work. And Caleb is graciously trying to stay behind the camera because he's a knucklehead and doesn't want to be in front of it.
No, I was
You're a
moving.
fat guy in front of it, man.
He's camera shy.
That's right. And then also though, Thomas, just as an aside, is we did have Dale and I had a good visit yesterday over at Summit 4x4 here in Prescott.
Oh, good.
And they're down with helping us out, explain what's going on. Long story short, they would like us to develop a list of what are the
Okay.
things we're looking for. And
Okay.
we can graze the scrap
Throwaway pile.
bin is the throwaway pile as much as we want.
Yeah, what'd you do with the spice lean?
Oh, the
So
dice line or scythe line or
yeah, this is why the old fat guy A wears glasses and B
yeah.
prefers a keyboard on a laptop over a stinking cell phone that's got buttons. But we did
Yeah.
score a driveline that we're gonna have to, when we set the front axle, we're gonna have to set it to the length of the driveline.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
But
Hey,
but
so
anyway,
I can work on making a list as well, and also maybe people in the comments can put down what they think we should keep an eye out for.
now I've got to get up close here to comment. So anyway, we appreciate those of you who jumped on this little call because we've got one person watching still, 3 people watching, and we did not anticipate any because we weren't trying to do anything organized. We were just trying to give this a shot to learn a little bit. But this Amigo is going to end up a 4-wheel drive. It's going to end up fitting much higher and much wider than it is. It's going to have some, what should we call it? Some improvements made to its physical appearance.
Yes, including that dent that I see right there.
Yeah. If we don't take that dent out, how can we possibly cut the fender out to fit those 37?
You take the dent out first, then you chop it.
Yeah, we'll take the time to take the dent out and make it look nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, it's content.
Yeah.
It
So
has like the same style yoke
ooh, okay.
or transfer case.
Right. Maybe
It's
stick that
longer.
on.
It's got a double cardan.
Maybe stick that on the transfer case and see
Yeah.
if it'll fit on there. Hey, by the way, those gears came in
Oh, sweet.
from Independent 4x, the 3-to-1 kit, and
Even
I was
though they're on-
surprised. I didn't read too closely when I bought it, but I was surprised it comes with 2 quarts of purple power. So it comes with fluid already. So
That's going to make it go even faster up the rocks.
it's good for at least 3 horsepower.
Yeah, Royal Purple is known for the additive. I got into tip about running synthetic oil in old engines.
Right.
It doesn't seem CDDP,
Right.
but that has it in it already. So
And if we can get that extra 3 horsepower, Thomas, then with our 2.6 liter that runs at about 18 horsepower, that's important.
Yeah. I would bet that engine has a tired 90 horsepower. But
Yeah.
because those pistons are so large for a 4-cylinder, I think it's going to have a lot of torque.
I think you're right. Well, Isuzu built stuff tough. Most of it was industrial, where Isuzu came from. So
We
Yeah.
don't dance like that around here, Tana.
All right.
What
Well,
else?
anything you need to do as we're burning up bandwidth?
Bandwidth, yeah. So,
I think that today today we'll do the smoke test first
okay.
and find out if we've got any other exhaust leak or vacuum leak. And then I think we should take a look. We can do some measurements, voltage measurements on that O2 sensor and on some other things. Let's kind of step through that also.
You got a little.
I've got my meter now to pick up this back. It's in my toolbox. And then if we don't find anything from that, Thomas, I did check in. I'll check with Napa on that temperature sending unit, but that temperature sending unit seems like would still allow us to idle and accelerate from an idle. But
Yeah,
maybe not. I could throw an extra fuel out and flooding it from the beginning. We
it
just
it
need to find that
sounds
way back to step under the 1 and 2.
so it that's what we were getting last weekend too, is it would idle, but then as soon as you gave it any throttle, it would send all the fuel. So it literally could be anything. Um and we're gonna feel so dumb when we figure it out. But when we do, it's
Well,
gonna be awesome.
maybe we'll be lucky and find another dime-sized hole in a hose somewhere.
Yeah.
Bob was saying the parts are special orders, so uh, it might take
Maybe find
a week to get.
You're going to be
For
here next weekend?
I'll be there next weekend. I have an appointment again in Phoenix at 9:30, and then a phone call appointment after that. But I should be there at the latest by 4.
Okay. And we've
If
got
if
this time we've got your Taj Mahal set up in the corner all cleaned up so you can have your own patio.
my trailer, cool.
That's right.
And then also I'll bring those gears. I can bring the Dana 44. Uh, I might have some KC lights with me. And I don't know, maybe a tire or two, just to see how it looks.
You gonna fit that all in that little car?
No, I'll bring the truck.
Off the
But hey,
toolbox?
so one thing,
That's
the
supposed
only
to be.
the only thing that is other than getting the engine to run like it should, which by the way, I have sights on uh a pup truck around the same year. Like if we had to, I could buy another donor vehicle and just pull the engine out of that truck for the Amigo.
I think that with the good compression and where we are on this, we debug this. I think we're gonna have a good solid little runner.
Okay.
But that's good to know there's a backup.
Yeah. And you have the feeler gauges and all that.
I do.
Okay. So the only thing so going back to the list for your guy at Summit, the only thing that's other than the engine running that is kind of like we got to have this or the whole vehicle won't work is the tires. So worst case scenario, or at the very least, we can at least cut down those TSL boggers and use those. But if
Right.
if if you so happen to run across uh, like a 35-ish tire that's soft, because the thing about the boggers is they have huge lugs and they're great for the mud, but they're really stiff tires because they're old and they're built for mudding through the swamp. So
Right.
um, if you happen to run across another tire that you like, then let's pull the trigger on it. I'll send some money over.
Well, we told them what we were looking for and what we were thinking.
Mhm.
So there. I mean, the cool thing is Jesse and then his number 2 guy Ken, or number 1 guy, however you want to look at it. They both they both seem on board. They were like, "Yeah, man, this would be cool. We'd love to help." So, and I told them, I said, it's a budget build. We want to be honest about what we're spending, because if we get any amazing donations, we're gonna be counting that as part of our bill. But
Yeah.
if we bought something at a reduced price, then that's a purchase.
And a special little spot to put their sponsor sticker. Don't forget to tell them.
Absolutely.
I said we have plenty of room for stickers.
The whole car. All right, gentlemen.
It won't be as classy as Briley's license plates, but
You saw that?
that was awesome.
Ask him if he needs an Arizona one.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to bring him we're gonna have to bring some self tappers and some license plates.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, no, don't.
Tag it.
On the chance that he doesn't see this live later, we should get everybody in on it to bring a bunch of license plates and self tapper them all over that thing.
But he's not looking.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we could make it a night operation. That would be
I love
great.
it.
Just like everybody's
love it.
screwing their state all over his car, all over his truck.
Get Dan and Macy involved. We'll have Macy be our lookout.
Yeah,
Sure. Cool.
that'd be great.
All right. Well, can you do that?
I've been up too long. I got to go to bed.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, good luck today.
We'll take all the luck we can get. And I still think if I get an external camera for this laptop, we should be able to do everything from one machine. There's got to be a way. There's got to
Yeah.
be a way. You got a sixth grader at home. Let's ask them.
Right. I'll do a little research if it gets slow tonight and see what could be done.
All right.
But
Well,
you guys,
you start, Thomas. Who are you?
what's that?
I said, well, when we sign out, let's make sure everybody gets their call letters in.
Oh, right. And by the way, your guys' microphones are working great. I can hear you both awesome. So
I'm kind of surprised because it's just off the telephone.
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, maybe that's the answer.
I'm yelling,
Right.
What? What'd you say? Yeah. So I'm Thomas from Black and Blue Garage.
I'm Caleb from Project XJ.
And I am Bob from Party Shop Shenanigans. And you all stick around. We'll have more to come.
From the three Amigos.
Sky and Nora.
I don't know how to turn this off, but I'm just gonna power down my phone. You guys have a good day.
All right, man. You two get some sleep.